Yeah.
Kids can guaranteed. And I was with the swim team, we had a permanent booth.
It's very different than when I was.
It's good.
Makes one person.
Well, do you have time to read? Have you read either of these?
No, but that's what
Family, and his family, you know, participation.
I read fiction every once in a while, but
And their ability.
so much information out there, so that's.
Okay,
We starting.
yes, we're gonna call the meeting to order. That's what I'm supposed to do, call the meeting to order. Okay, approval of minutes, we don't have a copy of them, but I know I saw them. I think I sent them back to Marissa saying they were okay.
Yeah.
I would accept the minutes as written.
Second.
Everybody in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's approved. We have no public comments. Scott, you're up next.
So tomorrow night, we have a work session at 6 o'clock. We are going to talk about the comprehensive plan update and Area J discussion. And if you don't know J, that's the Walnut Street extension that goes out by Jarbo's. So that's gonna be, it's pretty cool looking right now, but you know, things can change. So.
And that's because of the business going in out there?
Because of Jarbo's.
Oh, no, the
Oh, the big Amazon type building, yeah. Yeah, we gotta funnel people out that way.
Yes.
They can't keep coming in on Township and
Right.
13th, yeah.
What is this as? Is that still on hold, Amazon property?
I think it's a go, so I'm shocked they haven't started moving dirt.
No, because they're.
It's not Amazon.
No.
Trammell Pro bought it back from Amazon. They wanna build a building just like Amazon.
When
It's
is
a
it?
spec building, and I went to their meeting and I said, guys, you got money, but nobody builds a building that expensive on a spec. So they would say, they said, no, we don't have anybody interested, so.
What's his name?
What kind of
I'm
building?
hoping that it gets some.
Speculation.
Oh, gotcha.
Warehouse building, what kind of building is it?
Just like what an Amazon would build, 105 loading docks, big warehouse facility, huge. So Columbia, I believe, is 500,000 square feet, this will be 720.
Whoa.
But that doesn't create enough jobs, warehouse.
They all live here anyway.
Lot of
We've
track
talked
record.
about that for
There's
years.
no way we could.
We built this, we think we're gonna have people come to Canby, they can't afford to live here anyway. They work elsewhere and they drive here. So, yep, so that'll be interesting. And then in our regular meeting, we have a couple ordinances to reread for second reading, and we did put out a spec sheet for a city attorney recruitment. So here, an idea on that. And that should be it.
So any more information on the dog park?
That's part of the J Foundation, so, yeah, you'll have to see the,
So it'll be out that direction there?
yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Any questions for Scott? Okay. My share report is on the back. Goal gets a donation policy approved. I worked on the highway section, but the goal today is to give it to the groups that are here, to let them write their finalized sections. They should own their own sections. I asked Jennifer to talk about finalizing the process for getting high school member on board. I asked her for an update, didn't ask her to finalize the process, excuse me. And then, you know, I would like to get it done by about 6:20 so that we have a chance for people to leave and go to the bathroom, get a drink of water for the other group to come in. I think that sounds like a good plan for everybody. And that was all I have. Did anybody have any questions for me? Okay,
Did you want me to talk about?
go ahead. Yes, thank you.
So, we talked about, for the Canby team liaison for the board, we talked about, reaching out to the high school. They have a, club fair, and I was able to, I had a hard time hearing back from my contact, and I'm not sure that she forwarded my email like I thought she would to all the, to the different leadership groups. I reached out to a different contact, she's in the counseling office, and she and I brainstormed, apparently the club fair is until mid-October, so that's not great. I thought it would be closer to the first few weeks of being back to school. But the high school has scrolling announcements on the board, and a lot of times people will say, I need a landscaper's assistant on Saturdays. If you're interested, go to the counseling office or go to the career center and they'll give you more information. And I thought, since that reaches every classroom in high school, what a great way to be seen and have our blurb out there. But before we do that, there were a couple things that had been brought up that we need to make a decision on. One is on our application, do we want a parent to give consent to their minor being on this committee? And there was a second one, what was that?
I was going to ask Jennifer, I don't know the protocol for high schools or there. Is it important for kids under 16 to get their parental consent, or at least an acknowledgement of when the meetings are, so that the parents can see what the kid is signing up, potentially signing up
I
for?
think that's incredibly valuable.
I don't know if we want to put consent / acknowledgement to the parents, so we know that the parents have seen what the kids are volunteering for. Is that something that's done? You know?
It's something that ought to be done, whether it's done or not.
As part of the application.
Yes, okay.
The club fair, is that something we would set up a booth and go and represent?
That's what I wanted to do. And I didn't get that far because we realized the dates are so far out. There's got to be a way to get in front of these kids, like the first couple weeks they're back. And even though they're still settling in, the interested ones will come forward. But like I know the FBLA teacher, Tanya Bowstead, maybe you know her too, Scott, she'd be a great resource. The FFA teacher would be a great resource. And my hope had been, but keep in mind that my contact had, a break over the summer, that I was hoping that one person at the school could forward it out with our applications with a process to all the relevant teachers. And the teachers just got back in their classrooms, so our timing right now is perfect. But I'd like to get the answer to the question of, do we want to just have a parent acknowledgement signature on there? There was one more question that came up though, Lois, and I can't.
Can I make a suggestion while you're thinking? When Garrett was in school, now that was 5 years ago, Jamie Netter, he wanted to be a volunteer for the fire department. She was in charge of rounding up kids, hey, does anybody want this, does anybody want that? Maybe she'd be a good one, or Sue Winter.
Sue took Jamie's place.
Okay.
And Sue is my contact.
Okay, perfect, then
That's
yeah.
where but then
And-
now I have the counseling office
Yep.
involved too.
And
so
Lori Wujak's in there, she
that's
should
who
know.
I talked to.
Yep, and
See?
the librarian seems like she should be helping you more too.
But
That's
we're
just
gonna have
my,
luck getting that person to
that's just
respond.
my thought, but she should be helping you too.
Well, and that's one of the things that I would like us to get is kind of a repeatable, documented process. So when you need a student, you go to this position, you should be in the position with maybe the person standing behind it, but it would be nice to establish a process that all of us, 25 of us, that is documented so that people know what to do.
What about going as a guest speaker and going into like a civics class or something, although aren't they seniors? I don't know, but maybe that teacher could help direct you. And
They have orientation stuff that they get, like the first week, like every grade, like here's your schedule,
today and tomorrow,
here's the things. Oh.
yeah.
You got a flyer when they take their info home.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, like it can't just tuck something into their.
Well, they're there till 7.
Okay, did we know,
Is it registration night? Is that what you're talking about?
are we looking for a freshman, a sophomore?
I think sophomores where we landed. Is that where we landed?
I'm going to say I would prefer a sophomore because they've gone through the trauma of going into the ninth grade. But at the same time, one of those young ladies that applied was very, very articulate and extremely interested. So I would say the preference would be a sophomore, but would be open to somebody who.
But in that case, parents also need to understand that this is and the kid needs to understand this is a multi-year expectation, not just.
Yeah, we don't want to do this every year.
Can't drop in and yeah.
And then somebody for the kids that are younger, somebody's gonna have to get here, pick the kid up.
What I think would be great is if, first of all, the future focus classes are their sophomore year. That's when they learn how to do interviews and all those things, and they have unless they've changed the structure, because I've been out of it a little while too, they have a dedicated teacher that's in charge of their quasi-counseling part of it that they meet with. So I have great ideas of how to get as a person. I know who to talk to, and even if I don't still know those people, I know the system. So I would love to keep this rolling. But wouldn't it be fun if we could put on the student that as they depart, they try and help talk about it with their colleagues? What a great thing that would be.
Yeah, but how many seniors? No freshmen.
But still open it up to all.
Okay.
The second part that I had been forgetting about was, there was a comment about asking how will the student be able to get to the meeting. That was the second part, making sure the parent had said that they would support this and then asking how they would get there. Those are the notes I have.
So do you want to then see, if you can get your contact and maybe a couple of us will go meet with that person and, is that?
I don't know if we're gonna be able to get anyone to agree to meet with us right now with how busy they are, but I can certainly try. I think what we ought to do is put together a concise, this is what we want on the scrolling announcements, this is our application, this is where they should turn it in, and then get it spread out to all these advising type teachers. Actually, any teacher. Every teacher's got one student that they really take the shine to and just help along, I think. Everybody knows somebody that would be great for this role. But I will move forward. I just need to know if we want to put parental permission on there. Now that staff is back, I will make it a point to stop in and get. If you'd like, I can get a meeting with Sue. I'm sure I can get a meeting with Sue. And then if someone would like to come along, that'd be great.
Yes. The reason I'm pushing on the dates is because my husband's having surgery in October. I'm going to be tied to taking care of him for a couple of weeks. So it's, but and we might go away in September just because I'm going to be tied at home ministering to my husband. That isn't stop from killing him.
So if we try and get this meeting in the next couple of weeks, that'd be great. Okay, got it.
Okay. So that's what I would like. I would like us to have a plan on this. Not that it's carved up on the mountain in rock by the finger of God, but something that's we've established so that the next group can take it on. If they have to make changes to it, that's fine. I have no problems with that, but at least kind of to draw a line in the sand. Now, one of the young people who applied was a girl who only had a school email address. Well, she had the same school email address in the fall.
Yes.
Okay, that's good to know. So I think that what I need to do then is send a note to these kids saying, we have changed our process, thank you for your interest, we changed our process, and we're going to be working with the school, so look to the school to hear about this, but, we want to establish a permanent repeatable process. And that's, and And it would be really helpful if I could actually give them a name of a person to talk to, but, so I don't have to do this right away, but it's something I really feel like I should do, is reach out to the kids who already applied. You know, so, let's try to talk about that offline, if everybody's okay with that, you know, so we have a plan, kind of, we have a plan to have a plan. Okay, so that's the liaison process. Anything without that?
Long time ago.
I can basically just say there's no update since the last meeting, which was about a month ago. And there likely won't be another meeting until the link directors have submitted their annual progress reports, starting from fiscal year 21-22. And there's been a big issue with these annual progress reports because we already have to answer basically all the questions plus more for the state report. So this is just gonna be a lot of extra work that honestly, a lot of us who are directors at the time have to try to fill in. So I'm not sure when the next meeting will be, but it'll be after those are completed. Okay, it will take a while.
Okay.
I did see after the meeting for some tutoring, actually. I was curious why they were talking about the division, how, and I was informed, it was really interesting actually, the process that they went through to develop the library boundaries. They can't use the school boundaries because when they originally set it up, they, all the little cities and towns, they were far apart because we didn't have as many people. And so each city had developed their own library. Well, then when they decided to bring them together, they looked at the school lines and there might be 2 or even 3 libraries in that boundary. So then how do you divide up the money that way then? It just wouldn't work. And so Portland, they didn't have this problem because they intentionally had a hub and then spokes on a wheel. And so I thought that was very interesting. Very complicated.
So did there seem to be any talk about coming up with a rational way, objective way of doing this? Or?
I don't think there is a rational way of doing it, but adjusting that, it's gonna be a lot of fighting, I think.
The biggest issue right now with LDAC is certain LDAC members want to fix this boundary issue now with the current tax district, and other ones want to fix it with the new tax district so we can get more money. Doing it with this current tax district is going to be fighting over the same amount of funds. And so that's kind of the issue. That's one of the reasons why LDAC hasn't moved forward in any direction, is because half the people are here and half the people are here. So it's complicated. I imagine it will continue to be complicated, but the link directors are getting ready to work on our tactical plan now to go out for new tax districts. So I don't know if that'll change anyone's minds, but
No.
Any questions for Amy or Marissa about LDAC? So Marissa.
all right, got a couple updates for you. The city of Canby now has a new IT provider. They're called Polar Systems. They're based out of Westland. They're actually right next door to the Westland Library, and my husband works for Polar Systems, so that's a little fun connection. And so now that Polar Systems is on board, we just went through the process of interviewing for our new IT coordinator position, which is going to be a city position that is basically the go-between between Polar and us. And we did offer the job to someone. I cannot say who, since they're going through the background, but once that passes, then I'll let all of you guys know. So that was really fun. I was actually on the interview panel. It was really interesting.
So do you think this is a good thing for the city?
Yes, yes. Polar has already been kind of cleaning up a lot of stuff that has needed to be cleaned up. A lot of stuff that Paul had started way back when he was here. And this new IT coordinator position, I think, will be really important in helping people here on the ground when it's needed, and also being the go-between between Polar so they can describe to Polar issues that a lot of us get flipped to talk about or describe in a correct way. So I think that's good, and I'm hoping that new person will be onboarded sometime. So hopefully sooner rather than later. Second update, last day to sign up for summer reading was Sunday the 11th. In order to admission time. Obviously, we still have logs if people really want them, but they can return their logs through the end of August if they want to be in the raffle drawings, because we are going to do this. Let's see, we're in the process of refreshing the Library of Things collection. We had a lot of board games that just didn't circuit all, so we removed those. They're actually going to be games that may be used in some of our teen programming now. And then based on how many people asked for these, we're getting a DVD/Blu-ray player, we're getting a portable DVD player, and then we're in the process of talking to some other folks to see what other additions we could have. So if you have any ideas of what to add to the collection, we definitely want it to be items that don't involve a lot of cleaning, that aren't super big, and people generally can't get hurt using them. Yeah. Staff are reviewing the teen room mural art. We got the mostly final mock-up last week, so we're going to be reviewing it tomorrow, and hopefully that will be up in September. Maybe October, but hopefully September. The Clackamas County Job Infrastructure Grant that I told you guys about way back when, were each of the cities who applied for the funding, who have been awarded the funding, are working on a scope of work, and that's because everybody's grant funds are going to be used to do something different, so we all had to come up with like our different scopes of what we're going to be using the money for, how we're going to track stats, and so on and so forth. And so the county said that we should be getting the funding in November, and I have everything ready to go to click purchase on everything we're going to be buying before that starts. So really excited about that. Today, with a couple other city directors, I met with the new Canby School District Superintendent, Jennifer Patterson, her executive assistant, the school board president, and then just, like I said, several other directors to talk about ways we can partner and support each other. It was mostly just a meeting to connect. We did talk about some goal setting, goals that we can all come up with together. So I'm hopeful that there will be future meetings to see how we can support. She was super, super nice, as was her assistant. So I think that will be a really good relationship to have. Programs are going super well. I don't know if you guys were able to stop in during the Lego competition. We had the max amount of teams, which I think is like 11 or 12. And a lot of people really enjoyed it. And then last week on Wednesday, we had the presentation from the Lego Masters. I cannot remember her name again. She was on that show, the Lego Builder Masters, whatever. And she presented the grand prize, and so we're working on a social media post to show everybody the top 3 Lego builds that won, and they were amazing. They're actually still up. You go, it's our discovery room. It's that weird middle of the library. They're still up on the outside windows. We're going to see those. And then I didn't say this earlier, but we're going to have some new adult programs starting in September, so be on the lookout for those. And then the last but not least thing, I am hoping to finish that strategic plan document before our next library advisory board meeting. I'll get it to you beforehand so you can review it, and then we'll discuss any needed edits. And then just because the city council agendas for like the next couple months are getting kind of full, we do need to get on their meeting agenda sometime in October or November. We'll do that pretty soon to present it. Yeah. So other than that, everything's going really well, and
How's your attendance tracker? How's that show? What's that showing?
like for people coming to the library in general, I mean, it's been pretty steady. I think every month we've seen an increase in people. And like today was dead, which makes sense. Yesterday was super, super busy. We were getting put on the generator, so we had power issues to deal with. But things have been going really well. Programs have been seeing a huge increase in people, especially adult programming, which is really great. And same with the teen stuff too. So generally, I think things are going really well. One of the things that's in that strategic plan that we want to really make a point of accomplishing the next couple of years is making those connections with all of the other businesses, groups, institutions. So all of those places can know and understand what we do and what we have to offer. I think that's an issue that we always see is people coming in and saying, I had no idea you had this. So we're trying to figure out how to get that information out to everybody. And so far, we've come up with a couple documents, a list of services. I recently finished one in Spanish. So we're just trying to get that information out there.
Just a quick question, like the IT contractor, what was the name on that?
Polar, Polar, Polar Systems.
Okay,
Yeah.
and I happened to run into, I believe it was one representative that was on site here,
Mhm.
and I known him for the last 25 years because he was on the swim team,
Ooh,
Casey.
oh, you know Casey?
Yeah.
That's
I've
fun.
known him since he was 5 years old.
How cute.
So,
Yeah, Casey's one of the people who's been on the ground.
Yeah, so
during that
can you
transition.
just briefly explain, you've got an IT coordinator, staff person that's gonna deal directly with people like Casey, correct?
Yeah, so the way that it's supposed to work, which we had a temporary IT coordinator person, basically the IT coordinator person is a city staffer, so they're going to be sometimes, if there's nothing going wrong, the only IT person in the building. And so they'll be managing the tickets that come in from all the different departments. They will be able to help with things that they can help with, and then for everything else, then they will basically be in charge of communicating with Polar, getting someone down here, explaining issues, and so on and so forth. The IT coordinator will also be dealing with the phone contracts, the cell phone contracts, updating software and making sure we have enough licenses, stuff like that.
So it's citywide,
Yeah,
not just the library.
Yes.
The library participates.
library is just one of the departments.
I got it, thank you very much.
Going really well so far, even though we don't have that IT coordinator, but it's going really well. That's kind of why Casey's here right now.
I vouch for Casey, he's
Yeah.
very,
Oh, I met him.
and he's very personable and he can get along with just about anybody.
Yeah.
so,
Totally.
Any other questions for Marissa?
How's the seed library going? Are people bringing in the results of seeds at all?
Yeah.
Because the resulting time is about now.
Yeah, I don't know how many we've received. One of our part-time staff members who actually started the Oregon City Seed Library, the public library one over there, she has taken it over. And I don't even know if I said this to you guys yet, but our little seed library stamp, it's a personal library stamp. Lisa, our library assistant, our part-time library assistant, designed it, did it, drew it. So we got all that stuff together. So her name is Maud, who's in charge of it right now, but she's the one who's in charge of it. She's the one who's been getting information out there, contacting Kay from the Seed Exchange, and doing all that other stuff. So if you have specific questions, I can certainly have her come to a meeting sometime and maybe explain it.
Has anyone brought back any of the results of their plantings yet?
That I don't know because we've
Because I
referred
think
them to
there's
the
like a little-
Candy Center.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, that's
for
true,
any of
that's
that.
true, that's true.
So I don't actually know, but I could ask the Candy
That's
Center.
true. I'm just curious.
It's going really well, and I will tell you, there's been a couple people who I've helped, and then someone comes up to the desk and they're like, what were you doing over there? And then I tell them, and then they take seeds home. So, I mean, even just me being on the desk, I've seen a lot of people take seeds home, so it's really nice.
Good. Yeah, it's a cool program. I have no report from Friends of the Canby Public Library. Probably that's something that we can work out with them, is like getting regular reports from them. I do know that, I did get, so if you're a member, you do get their emails. I did get their email yesterday. They're looking for 2 new board members, and they have a big sale every year. Swan Island Dale is, and that's Sunday, September 1st. This is where the newer coffee table type books get taken out there. We charge more for them out there than we charge here in the bookstore.
But also, we're fun.
Yes,
We're just fun out there.
yes, it is a lot of fun, and they have music and
Yeah,
food
it's fun.
It's really fun.
that, you just take a break, wander through the fields and go grab a beer and listen to some music and stuff like that, so it's a lot of fun. So I'm going out that day, you're going out that day, you're going out that day, so, yeah, it's fun to be there. It's fun. Let's just hope weather cooperates. And then I'm hoping today that we can agree on some kind of like regular communication between the group. that really hasn't been happening. I haven't really gotten any reports on what they're doing. I don't know if they're gonna do another Christmas tour of homes or anything like that, so that would be.
I have a question, do they, so you have 12 meetings a year, don't they come once a year and give you an update, or just no, why?
I think in the past, we always had people who were close enough, we're all both or close enough that the information got exchanged, but that's not what happened.
This is a city, this board
Yeah.
is a function of the city. Friends of the Library is not, it's a separate 501c3.
Yeah.
So.
You think you would
Yeah,
elaborate.
the uncool answer to that is they don't have to.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I was trying to think of a way to not say that. But yeah, they would. It's truthfully, in this incarnation, it's a fairly new organization, approximately 12 years old. So there's still some stuff that doesn't quite work. And Friends of the Library is a very old organization, but in this incarnation of it, that thing all fell apart many years ago.
Amber is the Friends liaison for the library, so I could either have her come here or I could just have her give me a report.
So she's going to their board meetings?
Yeah, and if she can't go, I go, which sometimes our schedules just are all over the place, but if I go, I can give you an update, if she goes, I can get an
Well,
update.
that's something that we should discuss, I think, in the joint meeting. How do we get information to each other? I mean, our meetings are public information, stuff like that, but it'd be nice if we all gave each other a summary, like once a quarter or something like that. I don't know that it should necessarily be on the agenda every month. I mean, so Tiffany, Linda, and I all work for the Friends in the bookstore, so we know, like, the Swanell Deli sale and stuff like that, but other board decisions that are happening, we have no visibility to those things.
I would just like to add that's because their board meetings are during the day between 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, when those people are just like hanging out and they're not.
Yeah, they're Wednesdays at like 9.
Yeah, there's like giant demographics of people that there's not
I thought maybe they'd show up every 6 months or something, just give you an update.
Which we could talk about that at this
That-
meeting, if that's
that's
what we
fine.
decide, that would be
Yes.
great.
Yeah.
Another thing for you too, I don't know if this would be helpful, but the foundation, who also needs board members at 5, the foundation and I also meet every other month, would you like me to add that to like the board reports, to give you updates on what they're doing? Or is that not?
Actually, I think I would like us to discuss this with the 3 groups. How should we be communicating, how often, and who should do it?
It would be a really nice thing to coordinate, it really would, because the Friends do 90% at least of the funding for what goes on in the library for programming. And not because the board needs to have any control over what that is, but in a sense we do, because the kind of programming you do goes through this board. The money for it comes from the Friends, so it would be really nice if we had a closer relationship, I think.
That is the purpose of this meeting, and I'm hoping that's the first of many.
It used not to be a moot, it used to be a moot point, because I was on all boards for years.
Yeah.
There was enough overlap that
Yeah.
the need for like an outlined communication plan probably wasn't really there.
No, there were about 6 people who were doing all of it.
Yeah.
So
Whereas now
when I
it's
first
like,
started,
yeah,
okay, we need to have a,
Yes.
You've heard the saying, 10% of the people do 90%.
Yes.
That, I don't care what group you're in, that's gonna be the case.
Used to be 80/20, remember?
Yeah.
That was the good old days, Rick.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I think that's definitely one of the things I want to get out of the joint meeting is what should the communication between the three groups be? How should we do that? Who should be at what meetings? And, because I do think it's important for all of us to work together well. So the next thing on the agenda is the donation policy. It's on the back page of the agenda, highlighted in yellow. Linda, Marissa, and I knocked this around several times, and I think we are ready. So, if everybody would read it, and
Comments in the right places.
Okay.
I'm gonna read it out loud just because I am one of those auditory learners. Two organizations, the Friends of the Canby Public Library and the Canby Public Library Foundation, provide supplemental funding for the library by accepting donations. As both of these are 501c3 organizations, they are able to provide seats for tax purposes. The library does not accept any non-monetary gifts, and financial donations made directly to the library go to the city's general fund, not specifically to the library. More information can be found in the How Do I section of the library website.
One sentence I find confusing.
okay.
The library does not accept any non-monetary gifts and financial donations made directly to the library go to the city's general fund. That, it feels like there should be a distinction between those two.
It could have and just put a period and start.
And start a new sentence, it would be clearer.
And I have, I'm gonna piggyback on what you just said, because I was trying to come up with something more succinct. And the library, I have by law, I don't know if by law, by ordinance or something, but I wanted to preface it so they know that this isn't just an arbitrary decision that somebody's made. By law, financial donations made directly to the library must be deposited to the city of Canby General Fund and are not available to the library.
It's not directly available,
but yeah.
Yeah,
They're not necessarily.
like we get a contribution from the general fund, but it's not, like, it could have that.
They're not earmarked, but I was trying to find a word that they're not earmarked to the library.
That is a word. They're not.
We can use earmark if everybody, I'm just throwing stuff out for suggestion.
Yeah.
They're trying to make it concise, so we are not in a position of, so the perception is correct, that the perception doesn't go askew that we're making the decision, well, we don't want you. We don't want your money. That's not the point, it's the process. We want to clarify the process.
Is it important to tell people that the financial donations made directly to the library go to the city's general fund, not specifically to the library? Is that even necessary?
Yes.
That's a good question.
Yes, it is, because in the past, there is a history of people thought they were donating to the library.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't think it was necessary, and then I will tell you, when people write cut checks, it says Canby Public Library, and I'm like,
Yeah, that's why.
Good.
Let's discuss. Do you want to clarify by law, because by ordinance, or by law, because you said that, we're not a 301C3, whatever, so.
I don't even know. I could definitely figure that out. I know every library I've ever been a part of has it set up the same way, so I have no idea, but I can look.
And if you do that, don't you have to research and put some reference to the actual law and?
I feel like we're making it more complicated than it needs to be. Why can't we just say the library does not accept any non-monetary gifts, period? Financial donations made to the library go to the city's general fund and are not specifically directed to the library itself.
Or not earmarked for the library. It's gonna be important.
I mean, and just be done with it, because otherwise we're gonna do this for another.
No, that's it, we're
Yeah.
parsing too many words now.
Totally, I think,
So,
just like two
I'm
sentences.
fine with
short and
earmark.
sweet.
I'm fine with earmark. Want to vote on earmark?
What about the origin of earmarked? Does anyone know what it is?
don't know, but they use it every day.
No, I was worried about that. It's
Yeah,
from
that's
when you
not
mark
enough.
the cattle.
Oh,
Yeah,
You thought I was
Appropriate for
playing
candy
my
though.
phone.
yeah.
I was educating myself. We're okay. I think we're okay.
I mean, this isn't going into the policy, our policy manual, this is just
Also use.
how we're handling donations, correct?
no, this is kind of.
Yeah, this paragraph is going directly into the policy.
Okay, well, then we'll, okay, great.
Financial donations intended.
Okay, so we're gonna go, the library does not accept any non-monetary gifts, period. New sentence, financial donations made directly to the library go to the city's general fund and will not specifically be earmarked for the library, or not be earmarked for the library, do we need specifically, or we got earmarked?
I feel like it's okay the way it is.
Yeah, I think that not specifically to the library, kind of says it all too.
I do too. Yeah, I do too. Just two sentences.
Okay,
Financial donations made directly to the library go to the general, not specifically to, yeah, that's what I love.
All right, I agree.
I liked your, I liked the spirit of the comment about making it clear that it wasn't just some arbitrary thing we made up, but I think having to document it and back it up is probably not worth it, but I did like that,
Mhm.
the spirit of the idea.
Oh, somebody complains from Melissa, can explain the situation.
I will have the information available and ready. If we wanna put it in there, cool. If we don't, I will just have
So it's not any different than any other governmental agency or any other large agency. Nobody who runs a huge municipal budget
Right.
has a separate pot of money for this and that. And we don't, you don't, as individuals, we don't do that.
No.
Yeah,
At the end of the year, are you allowed to see how much donations you got?
We do, yeah, we do
Okay.
see a number,
Okay.
yeah. But at the same time, it's like, a lot of people, write those checks because they want the money to go specifically to something library related. And because we get a portion of the general fund, it's not a little and it's not a lot. It comes back to us sort of, but not in the way that people would think it would if they were cutting
Or
our
you
check.
can say, and not dedicated to the library, or you can say, whatever, you can pick any verb you want,
Yeah,
but.
I think the way it is here sounds
Okay,
as simple as it could.
can we take a vote on it?
I vote to make that two sentences and be
Okay,
concise.
anybody second it?
I'll second the motion.
Everybody in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We have a policy. Okay, the last thing I had to
Christie missed it.
Only took 3 months.
Yeah, the next one, the very rough draft of the how do I section is, the first paragraph will be the policy, but then have the information how to donate. And that information, I wanna give out to the Friends and the Foundation and the Kiwanis.
I will make a copy at our break for everybody.
And let them decide how they wanna say it. So we put the policy, but this is a chance for them, because I do think I actually use the how do I section on the library website. So I think it's an important thing, and I would like to acknowledge that, what Retro Revival does, what Booknick does, what the Kiwanis does, et cetera, et cetera. So, I would like to just pass that responsibility on. Now, if they come back with 42 pages, then we'll have to have a talk with them, but I don't think that will happen. So that's my thought on the how do I section. Have policy at the top, along with information how to donate. Or maybe, I like this at the top, because basically this is, staff does not accept donations directly from the community, for liaison. So that was my plan for that I did attempt to fancy this up and wordsmith it. I was gonna give it to the organizations and let them go with it. Because I think that they should own their own sections of this.
this is what I would do with that. No longer have a red pen, but my.
So this go in the policy, at all, this is just a
This will just be on the
memorandum?
website.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got this paragraph, and then that will be explaining how to donate.
Explanation, how to go, a route, okay.
Yeah, there's an entire how do I do this, how do I do that?
Yeah.
So this is under the how do I section, how do I make a donation?
I think it's important too that for the public to understand what kinds of things money given to the Friends will do for the library and what kinds of things money given to the foundation does. And to be able to make that distinction.
Yeah.
I think is really important.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of my goal with this is to, it's a mechanism to get the organizations plus I love $200 of Kiwanis and the Book Nook and Red Bible, but to get them to own their section of it because I think that they're interested in this as well. I mean, the Friends of the Library and Foundation have their own pages on the library website, but this is under the how do I section. Because some of us actually use the how do I section.
Oh, I use it all the
All the
time.
time. So,
I think it's just good to have like one place where it says all the information instead of going to every separate page, which you can find more information.
And if we can get at least a piece of it about who does what and where to make donations, put in a single page, it can go up on that bulletin board so that we,
Yes,
just
yes.
refer people to that.
yes.
Or it could be
Have
even
like a
printed
handout.
as a handout, absolutely want to make donations.
So Marissa, you will make a copy of this for the
I absolutely
for
will.
the folks coming up.
Yeah.
And then we can tell them we have a, and I can just read them the policy.
Yeah.
That we have. So the only thing I wanted to say, I wanted to stop a few minutes early again because we have so many people and a lot to get through today to kind of make your introductions brief. We will all have to introduce ourselves to everybody.
What do you want us to cover in the introduction, besides our name?
How long you've been on the board?
Kind of your, why you're here, because you volunteered with the Friends, and you decided that this was, something like that. Works for me. I was in because I looked at her, she's right.
If you don't make me cry when you introduce yourself, you haven't done your job. Because I feel it bubbling over right now.
Now's your chance to embellish however you want.
Yeah, right. We just make something up.
Well, they don't meet with you, so they'll never know.
Speak 14 languages.
Okay, I'm gonna call a 10-minute break.
Good.
So this meeting is officially over. So does somebody
I move we adjourn.
everybody in favor?
Aye.
All right. So you have a chance to go to the bathroom and get a drink of water and everything. Okay, we'll call this meeting to order. Thank you everybody for coming tonight. Thank you to the Library Advisory Board for staying late. First, I would like to thank Marissa for all her efforts to get this meeting going and to get the library back on the track after COVID and after a time of high staff turnover. We appreciate both her leadership and her dedication to the library and the residents of our library district. Some of us asked for this joint meeting a long time ago. Marissa was the one who made it all happen because she's get it done kind of person. We appreciate that. Second, I would like to thank the Friends of the Friends and the Library Foundation for taking the time to do this as well. We appreciate all that you do every day and in every way. And also I'd like to thank the Canby Kiwanis for being here, for all the past contributions to the library and their ongoing efforts to make our library better on a consistent basis. This has not just included financial donations, which have been many, but ensuring up all the library events in my almost 10 years in Canby, your dedication has been exemplary and very much appreciated. And somebody needs to open the door for.
The right-hand side, she should be able to open
Okay.
it. I have it unlocked.
Before I go further, I thought we would do some quick introductions of the Library Advisory Board. Scott, we will start with you.
I am Scott Sassy and I'm the council liaison for the city of Canby.
I'm Amy Ross. I've been on the board for 2 years.
I'm Rick Mayer, I've been on the board for 3 years.
I'm Lois Brooks. I've been on the board for 3 years, and I was on the board of the Friends for a while before that.
And I'm Linda Warwick, and I've been on the board 2.5 weeks.
Weeks?
Well, actually, a little longer than that, this is about 30 years. And I was on the Friends board for years, and they still let me go and play with the books.
I play with books also.
Yes.
I am Tiffany Mack. I also volunteer with the Friends, and I have 4 years now. I'm new to this board this year.
I'm Jennifer Kraxberger. I'm new to this board this year. I've been serving since I think November.
And so we have one person missing tonight, Christy Smith, who is on her honeymoon, and we currently have an opening for our student board member. So in terms of what we do, I had to hand out the duties of the library board. I don't really want to go over them all. I thought you guys could read it for yourself. If I was going to summarize it, I would say that we see the library advisory board as a means to get input to the city and the library administration on what the residents want and advocate for the library to the residents. So I consider a major part of our job advocating. And we also have policy responsibilities and things like that. In fact, we're going to talk about policy tonight. In terms of highlights,
Lois, excuse me. Some of us are old and decrepit and hard of hearing. Can we really use the microphones, please?
are they on?
They are on.
Okay.
Just as long as it has the green.
Thank you.
highlighted. Also, I turned all of your name tags so you would know where you're sitting. If you could turn them back.
I thought they were double sided.
Also,
Yeah.
for everyone.
Yes, let's finish. Why don't you guys do instructions?
Stephen?
I'm Stephen Hager. I'm a collection development librarian and volunteer coordinator for the library.
How long have you been here, Stephen?
It's complicated. I started as an on-call more than 3 years ago. I got a part-time position here about a year ago, and in March I started full-time in my current position.
I'm Amber Quinn, I'm the library manager, and I've been with the city of Canby for almost 2 years now.
I'm Marissa Ely, I'm the library director. I've been with the city since 2017, but I've been the director since October. So I'm almost coming up on a year.
Yeah.
Go.
My name's John Drott, president of the library board. Prior to that, I served on the library board for so many years, I don't know. I served with Linda on one of her first tours. She's managed to overcome the PTSD, I think, of that. But, back when, before they even passed the library district, Teresa and I were both serving on the library board. When the library's existence was seriously in doubt, if that did not pass, all the way to getting this facility built. On the library board, advocating for the city council, even if they didn't want to hear our advice at that time, the way it was set up. And as part of that effort, the foundation was founded to try to build an endowment fund so we could have long-term perpetual funding for library programs and supplement the needs to add on to what the city should be supplying as the sort of minimum standard for a library. And then ourselves, friends and ourselves can add and make the library an excellent library as opposed to just one that is there and gets by. So that's where we're trying to fit in. And to echo echo what Lois was saying, looking forward to all of us working together to do that, and I'm glad to see this meeting eventuating. And now I'll turn it over to my colleague in crime, now that I've said everything and stolen all.
Yeah, I have nothing left. No, I'm Teresa Enderle. I'm a retiree, I belong to the golf course, and when I retired, I worked on the foundation with Joyce and Linda, and then at the Friends of the Library, and then also with Penny helping start the foundation. So we've had it almost 12 years now, had the Canby Public Library
And
Foundation.
how much we have a couple $100,000 at our disposal at the moment.
Yeah.
But we're trying to build that up to,
What is the amount right now?
it's about 240, depends on where you, 240,000, somewhere around there. I don't have the exact figure at my fingertips, but we're not trying to dig into that necessarily, unless there's something really important. We want to build that up to at least $1 million.
Are you using any of that at this point? And I'm sorry if.
Yeah, that's fair.
Actually, Marissa's been really good about coming up with
Asking for money.
asking for money, which has been great because, you know, we've been there and in communication with the other library directors, but really this is the first year we've really had a good chance to support them, team room, also the makerspace, and help Philip get the equipment he needs to really run that. So yeah, we've been doing good on coming up with support for her, and that's kind of the goal.
That's awesome, thank you.
Okay, I'm Luana Hill, and I am here representing Canby Kiwanis, and we just love the library and try to direct a lot. It aligns with our mission of serving children, and so we've focused primarily on the children's section of the library, but we're also getting into heavy support of the makerspace, and I don't know if you all know about Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, but we also support that, and the library has been a great partner with us in outreach to the community. So we really appreciate the partnerships that we've been able to develop here, and love working with Philip, and it's been great. So anxious to see what we can do working together, so.
Hi, I'm Mary Ellen Laird. I'm the president of the Friends of the Canby Library currently. And I've been associated with the Friends for the last 4 years maybe. And so just this past year, serving as president and working with this excellent group of people here. I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Oh, sure, I'm Maureen Formick, I'm the treasurer. I've just been involved for about a year and treasurer for just a few months.
I'm Mary Voskuhl, and this is my 7th year on the board. And currently I'm the secretary and also work in the book garden.
Joyce Ayers, and this is my second round of being on the Friends Board. I was on the board when things fell apart a number of years ago. And was active in the fundraising and making sure things happened as close as what we thought we wanted when the library was built. I put in my time of 7 years or 8, I might have been, and I just joined again a couple of months ago.
I'm Patty McAlpin. If Mary's been on the board 7 years, so have I, because we came on at the same time. So I moved to Canby in 2016. I went to a home tour, Christmas home tour, and somebody handed me a brochure, want to be a friend. So I became a volunteer, and then Linda nagged me into taking over her role as the bookstore manager. So I've been managing the bookstore for probably, feel like forever, but it might be 6 years, I don't know. Anyway.
It feels like forever.
It does. So a lot of the people in this room are my volunteers. So I have like 22 volunteers. So anyway, that's what I do.
I'm Kathy Mulligan, and I'm just on the board and doing whatever else they need.
Which is a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Jack of all trades.
My name is Amy Seeley, and I apologize for my tardiness. I apparently can't read an email because I was sitting over in the Chamber of Commerce parking lot wondering where everyone else was. So my apologies. I've been on the board now just as a member since February of 2024, and I chose to get involved because my soon-to-be 4-year-old son absolutely adores the library. So I thought this would be a good place to volunteer.
Donna Bryant, I've been on the board roughly coming up on 2 years and doing events for fundraising.
Great. So I'm going to go off with talking about some of our accomplishments, what we're hoping to do, and then we'll go around and let the others do that too. So some of our highlights, we changed our bylaws so that our student member is a voting member of the Library Advisory Board. We're currently developing a process for working with schools to recruit a student member. We're trying to, it seems like in the past we kind of got lucky, and we're trying to develop a repeatable process so that we can have a contact with the high school and we know what to do and when to do it. We've written policies that I've never existed, like the policy for non-collection materials. For all of those of you who remember the book page incident, we did write a policy to address that, and then the more recent policy, the community bulletin board policy. We just tonight in our meeting approved a donation policy, and we also wanted to show it to you because it does mention both the Friends and the Foundation, and we're also working on the how do I, you were given a copy of this, I believe. So there's a section for the library for policies, and there's a section for the how do I, like how do I make the donation. So this is extremely rough because I think that the Friends and the Foundation should write their own sections. I should not be writing your sections for you. So wanted to hand that out tonight specifically because I think that it's important that, and it mentions the Kiwanis too, so I think that people should have to say on what we say about them in this. And I will read you our policy since it just was approved. I've got it here someplace. So this is the actual policy that will go in the policy section on the website. 2 organizations, the Friends of the Canby Public Library, there'll be a hyperlink, and the Canby Public Library Foundation, another hyperlink, provide supplemental funding for the library by accepting donations. As both of these are 501c3 organizations, they are able to provide receipts for tax purposes. The library does not accept any non-monetary gifts. Financial donations made directly to the library go to the city's general fund, not specifically to the library. More information can be found in the How Do I really section of the library's website. So because you are both mentioned, I wanted to make sure that y'all knew that it's going to be mentioned there. And I think that Foundation's website isn't finished yet, is that correct? Right. So, but we're looking for ways to make sure that everything gets tied together. So, and you don't have to obviously determine what, you can just get back to me with what you want on the how do I section. It's something that you guys want to decide as a board and things like that. You guys couldn't be the two of you.
Just to summarize real quick, Lois, because it's a lot of words to get around. The policy that she just read to you, that's our donation policy that's going to go into the library policy manual, which it says if you want to donate to the library, donate to the Friends or the Foundation. Okay. That money goes directly to us. If you write the check to the Canby Public Library, it goes to the general fund, not specifically to us. That's how it is at most libraries, just FYI. Sure. And so then the piece that I handed out to you guys is a rough draft of the website section where if you hover over how do I, and then it'll say, donate to the library. Okay. Basically, we wanted to have one page where each of the groups, the Friends of the Library, the Foundation, and also Kiwanis can say what you guys do with the money that's donated for you. That way people can choose who they'd want to donate to based on what they're looking for.
So this is different than how we did the donation for the makerspace, which we did directly to the city.
And you set up a
So
budget?
yeah, don't worry about that. I had that all taken care of. We have a separate budget line for the Kiwanis donation just because it was so large.
Okay.
My goal in being director is to make sure that the donations that are supposed to be for the library go to the library. So that either means through the foundation, through the Friends, and then for Kiwanis, I actually set up a separate meeting with the finance department. We have its own budget line and everything. I don't want anyone's funds that are supposed to go to the library to go specifically to the general fund, because that's not what they wanted, so.
We all want.
I can assure you, those funds are coming to us. So anyway, the handout here is really just for you guys to look over, really come up with a short little spiel on what you guys do with the donations you get, and then we'll be able to put that on the website so people can.
So the other thing, Luana, is that people often want to donate items to the library, and so we're trying to send them to Kiwanis. You know, because they don't want a lot of stuff, you know, I mean, the Friends has a list of what they take, and other than that, they don't want a lot of stuff donated. If you have Great Uncle Joe's painting, donate it to the Kiwanis. Trying to say that nicely, but that's what we're trying to get at as well.
I have a question, just for general discussion. Is there any, just a concern, when you say Kiwanis, that's one of many, many nonprofits that take non-monetary items.
We specifically
You've got
wouldn't mention
Goodwill,
it.
you've got the Best, you've got Habitat for Humanity, probably a whole slew of other ones. I wondered if there's any perception problem that we're funneling everything to, nothing wrong with the Kiwanis, don't get me wrong, but we've got a relationship with them, which is, you've already set up, but I wondered how much that would create any pushback, like just singling one organization out like that. Right.
I mean, I think at this point, the Kiwanis Club of Canby have been very supportive of the library, and just when we have people trying to bring physical things, we as library staff can't deal with it, we don't have time to deal with it, and so normally what they ask next is, where can I donate this? And I think that just makes more sense because it's not only close, but because of how much they do for the library. So if we got pushback, I'm sure we could address that at that point.
Plus, the Kiwanis takes a variety of items, where some of the other things are very specific about the items they take.
And you could also say that if they want to be included in the list, they too could make a donation to the library.
Absolutely, on a regular basis, annually, lots of money.
Yeah, but speaking to what Rick says, as a representative of Kiwanis, I don't have any problem with if it were to say, please consider donating these to the Canby Kiwanis or other charitable organization. It's not I mean, we work so closely with the Canby Center, but I can't honestly see what materials potentially coming here would go there. They're looking for clothing and things like that, so.
Yeah, and plus Canby Kiwanis supports so many different groups in this city, and I think one of the things we find really important is keeping those connections and keeping everything in Canby to support Canby. So, I mean, we could certainly put, exactly like Luana said, Canby Kiwanis or other charitable organizations. I just thought because they're close, because we've gotten a lot of really awesome support from them, it made sense, to put that other than instead of like Goodwill or something, which.
Right. But they have their own policies, what they'll take also. Kiwanis is gonna take everything in the world. So, and I know years ago, they were very restrictive, they're broader now what they're gonna take, but it was very restrictive, 10, 20, 30 years ago.
We could certainly add some extra places that people can.
Yeah, so just to make it more, I don't know what the word is, more inclusive to all organizations, I guess.
Well, so I'm the person who put that in there because in my 10 years in Canby, and 9 years with the library, it's been the Kiwanis that I've seen the most involved and donated the most time and money to making the library successful. So they built the children's section of our library. I mean, there isn't any other organization in Canby that has been as generous as the Kiwanis has been towards the library. So I'm the person who put it in there because that's what I've seen in my 10 years here.
Also, isn't it just like Alright, also, isn't it just like this
You
is,
say anyone but Goodwill.
we're, I think the point is we're trying to describe the steps for donating, with the intent to benefit the library, so although there are many other charitable organizations, I don't think, that all those other organizations are as connected as Kiwanis, so I think.
And I think Kiwanis is the only place, there's a thrift store in town, so I mean, realistically, we're trying to solve a problem that doesn't exist.
And also, the point of this study isn't how do I donate in Canby? It's how do I donate to the library? Yeah. I mean, if it wasn't, if it was for all of Canby or all of donations, that would make total sense, but.
So in terms of looking forward to our future goals, we have been asking for some time for a survey of all the residents of the library district. The unfortunate problem with surveys done by the library is that they don't reach people who don't either use or don't know about the library, don't know the services the library offers. Hopefully, they'll be better for that sometime soon. Very long term, we're looking for ways to help Clackamas County to go after a new library bond, which will increase funding. And hopefully this will address current issues like lack of funding for a Hispanic-speaking librarian. And we would like this to include methodological and easily explainable rationale for carving out the outlying rural areas. And then, just as always, to look for ways to work with the library staff and with the other organizations that support the library to make this the best library ever. So that's what I have our goals. So. John, you want to add anything else?
Oh, sorry, it's ready. Just so you can have some little more information. I was ordered by Teresa to hand this out.
Thank you.
Oh, really?
This is great, thanks.
This will give you some more information. I found when I was serving on the library board that people were always saying to me, oh, so you're with the Friends of the Library. No, I'm with the library board. And now I'm with the foundation, which is still the Friends of the Library, which is fine. I appreciate being associated with that organization. They do a lot of good. And I probably won't, but you guys can get them with your work. But our goal, our overarching goal is to raise first $1 million for an endowment fund. The idea is you build an endowment fund where the interest then funds on an annual basis the thing. Ultimately, I'd like to see it get up to $2 million. Of course, that seems like a pipe dream at the moment because it's 10 times more than we currently have. But that would then provide a pretty steady income at, say, 4%. You can do the math, it'd be some tens of thousands of dollars to donate to the library. Our challenge is how do you build the excitement for people to donate if you're not doing anything? So how do you balance, okay, taking your seed money and funding requests while also then building your endowment? So that's kind of our constant tug of war. It wasn't an issue in past library directors because we would keep saying, hey, we need to have something to do so that we can say we're doing something so we can raise money. And often the answer was, oh, we don't really know what to do or anything. Fortunately, that has changed now. And we were getting a lot more requests. So over the last 6 months, I think we've spent more money than we did in our history helping build up the makerspace room. We already had a donation of the 15 laptop computers that are in there. We've donated the tables and chairs, and there's software, there's infrastructural things that need to happen to make that base actually cook. So we're kind of working on that area. At the same time, we're building our organization. We funded a website designer who we're working with to get the website going. That should be coming the next week or two. But our long-term vision is to be there long-term. So building the endowment, we have funds at OCF. Cornerstone Wealth holds the bulk of our endowment money. Oregon Community Foundation holds about $20,000 of it. That's locked. You can't even get at it if you want to. So that will just keep building. Ultimately, in terms of building, how do you donate? We'd like to see the ability for donations to come in. Say, Kiwanis could filter right through. they say, here's money, but it's dedicated to this particular project, great, it goes right through to the library. That's an easy pass through for us to do. We'd like to give potential donors, the bulk of the money we have came from an estate. So we'd like to see a little more of estate planning go in there and then have them dictate how much of it gets locked that you can't, like with OCS, you cannot touch that money, it's there for perpetuity, versus how much should be available for discretionary spending if they happen to have a large project that comes up for funding. So we're trying to keep finding that balance between the long-term and the short-term fixes, so that's where we're at.
Just mention the film.
We also, so we've been scratching around looking for what is a good fundraising sort of event to have. In past years prior to the pandemic, which kind of threw everything out of whack, we put on a film festival that was donated, that was dedicated strictly to Oregon-based filmmakers. There had to be an Oregon connection to it. And then we showed those films here at the theater. We thought it was a nice tie-in with the theater, being right next door to the library. We are looking to build that up again. I would like to see us actually convert that into a student film festival as well, or have some segment of it dedicated to student filmmaking, so that you could have high schools, perhaps area high schools competing against each other, would be the long-term view of that film festival. So that's where we're going with that, and we'll be looking for title sponsors and getting that moving, hopefully, if not 2025, then the following year.
Question for you, John. I know one of the things when I was serving on the College Foundation Board, I had an opportunity to make a donation from my estate whenever that happens. Have you been talking to the local estate planners and attorneys and real estate agents and the real estate offices locally about when people are downsizing dramatically, selling the big house, if they're willing and able to make a donation to the foundation through their proceeds?
It is an important revenue stream for the estate planning. We have not specifically talked to the local estate planners at this point. I think a lot of them are a little resistant to playing favors. I don't think they want to steer their clients to, oh, if you got some money, you should do it here, there, as much as I'd like to be able to get that cell in there. But we are working with OCF as well to develop our information so that we can make it very easy for estate planners to add that to a person's estate plan.
It's one of the reasons we went with the Oregon Community Foundation, is they offer services if you have money in their account. So we have a contact that helps provide brochure information or whatever kind of information we need. They've got tons of resources for that, so that's been helpful.
And one more question there. I know the Friends are official with the Oregon Foundation, that we are a 501c3.
Yeah.
That number.
That big.
At any rate, I know that we used to use, I don't know if it's been used recently, about you can make a connection, a donation to the Friends and get the credit through the Oregon Foundation, or however it works, because I haven't read it for a while. But are you also in that situation?
Yep.
Awesome, good.
So does anybody else have any questions for John or Teresa?
I have a question. Have you, so I don't know if anybody known, this year and 2 years ago, Jamie Stickle, the economic developer for Canby, community enhancement grants, has anybody heard of that? So it's only $3,500, but still it's $3,500. You would probably qualify and the Friends would probably qualify. It's just an option. You might check with her and see.
Right, and so, and I appreciate you bringing that up. It's important for us to know about that. It's also important for Marissa to know about that, because we could apply, she could put a bug in her ear and say, hey, there's this thing that for $3,000 would be really nice if you applied for the grant. We would be happy to do that.
And also, I don't know for a fact, because I'm not in, but my wife is and Joyce's husband is, Rotary is always looking to give money.
Yeah.
I don't know if.
Rotary has been a wonderful friend of the Friends.
Okay. So that's my piece.
Especially when my husband was.
Luana, do you wanna talk about what the Kiwanis is up to? Do you have anything to say?
Well, we just made a donation for the makerspace, and that's I think that may be the primary reason we were invited tonight. But we would like to continue to fund that at a substantial level. Philip had given us a proposal for around 50,000, I think, and we said that this year we could come up with 15 of that. And he thought it was going to take him a while to, you don't want to just go out and buy $50,000 worth of stuff right away anyway, to start, getting a few things and seeing how they work. And so we're kind of in that phase right now. I passed my test and I am now an official volunteer, and Buzz Brim, Buzz is still working, so he wasn't able to be here tonight, but Buzz has been doing a lot of work with Philip in setting up the computers and getting them networked and doing things to help the space. And I'm hoping that we can get some of our members involved in actually volunteering and helping to make it possible for the space to be open more than maybe it was anticipated to be open. The money part of it, I'm a little concerned at this point about where we're going to head in the next year, because as you all know, we have had a highway project going on this year. And the sales at the thrift store we are actually in a deficit position right now. And we did get a $3,500 grant from the Canby Economic thing. And I'm currently writing grants because we have a food and toy drive coming up, which costs us around almost $50,000 a year. And we'll be able to do it, but it's gonna really deplete our account. So we are going to be in a rebuilding. So anything you want to donate, anything you want to go in and shop for, they have great stuff. But that's where we are. We are committed to the project, but we're kind of in a world of hurt right now. So not a world of hurt. No, it's just a challenge, and we will overcome it. We knew it was going to be bad, but for example, the donation dock they told us that it would be 3 weeks that street would be closed, and it was 6. And people don't like to bring their donations in and have to carry them through the front door. So you have to have stuff to sell. So we're just kind of in that cycle of having difficulty, but we're not the only business in town that is suffering. So,
Lana, could I bring that up at the council meeting? Because there's a lot of businesses that I know, they're down 50-60%.
Yes, exactly.
So could I bring that up?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. It's no big secret. I think that everyone knows, and I know the chamber worked really hard to try to make them see some kind of light on the issue. And I think we would have had people trying to get to the fair through traffic if the chamber hadn't intervened. So I think when we're all working together, it will be okay. But we'll be back, and this Thursday is a customer appreciation day with baked goods from Bees Bakery. So stop by the thrift store.
So the road to the donation dock is open.
Donations are open now. We also recarpeted last week. The store has been totally refreshed. Since we couldn't get into the store anyway, they closed it and recarpeted. So I don't know. But we're committed to things that are good for children, and we want to continue to support the children's section of the library, continuing to do the Dolly Parton thing. We added Molino, which was partly a possibility because the state is now funding half of Dolly Parton. And so that did free up that freed up about $10,000 in our budget, which then moved over here, so, yeah. So that's what the questions for Luana.
The only other thing I was gonna say was about the film festival and Candy Kiwanis is one of our hopes with the Maker Lab funds is to buy stuff that the kids or the students can use to edit their videos and all that good stuff. So we're trying to make a lot of connections here. So thank you.
That'd be great.
Exciting.
Thanks, Luana. So the Friends.
The Friends. So you see before you a group of people that are focused on generating income and revenue through sales at the bookstore. Patty's in charge of that, and all of her people who volunteer for the bookstore report to Patty, and we make a significant amount of money. That's our main source of income from that endeavor. We also do the tour of homes and the Dahlia Festival. We're doing a book sale, as you've all seen. So, and at Christmas time, we have done tours of homes, and so revenue is generated by the books sold through Retro Revival as well, and also the Better World bookstore. So those are our main sources of income to support the endeavor. We promote the programs, and so we too have participated in the Makers Lab by giving donations generated from the bookstore and other things. And so our current goals include maintaining our board membership and increasing our board membership. We're looking for another 2 people to join us on the board. We're building our social media presence, and we're maintaining and increasing the support of the community through our Friends memberships. We're sustaining our current levels of funding for the library programs, but we don't anticipate growing that extensively because, as we've all sort of gathered, this is not a growth endeavor. We're hoping to maintain and keep it at the current level so we can continue to support the programs. And then we continue to support the social events that generate support for the library. So those are the things we're working on. Did I cover it all?
Yeah, very good. Well, anybody have any questions for the Friends?
Nice job.
Okay, so the next thing, how can we all work together to support each other? And then how often should we meet? So it's an open, go for it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna start here because one thing I've heard from every group is they need more board members or members, and I think it would be really nice to have a liaison from each board on each board, so we're all getting information and passing it along. I know the Friends need 2 people, I know the Library Advisory Board doesn't right now. Foundation is looking for members, I would imagine. So.
Would double our size.
Yeah,
and 2 of you.
Yeah,
And
right
you'd
now.
like to have,
6?
Yeah.
have you ever had 6?
We've had 4
And
and 5. We've had 4 and 5.
First started, yeah.
And you'll see on the back of your agenda is I sent this out already, but it's a calendar that has all of these groups' meetings on it. Obviously, everybody kind of has a different schedule with their meetings, but I don't think it would be a crazy time commitment to go to honestly any of those meetings. And I think at this point, every group is doing really good work, and it would just be nice to have more overlap. So that's my piece.
Would you be involved in all of these meetings as well?
So Amber is the Friends liaison. I go when she can't, or if I am available, I definitely will. Let's see, Library Advisory Board is also mine, and Foundation is also mine. So I'm at most of the meetings, honestly.
Okay.
My life is like, I told somebody 80% meetings. It's like 90% actually, I think.
Yeah,
So I'd be happy to go to anything I absolutely can.
Don't let everybody speak at once.
Are there any plans to make the Friends board meetings virtual?
What was that?
So are there any plans to make them virtual?
We definitely could.
We could, but yeah.
There
I
have
think we
not
kind of
been
like getting
any
together.
plans.
We don't
We
like.
may not have a plan together.
There's no plan.
Your invitation. Or a invitation.
We certainly could. We do have a setup that we can wheel around to any room. If you guys wanted to do that, we could make it happen.
As in lieu of a board representative being at each meeting, is that what you're saying, Tiffany?
Well, the current schedule prevents people who are working from attending a Friends meeting.
Without a virtual option.
Right.
What are you suggesting? Say
Virtual meeting.
The library advisory board meetings, we have a virtual option so folks can call in using a link. If there was something, if there was an option like that available for our Friends meetings. that
This
might
is
be-
for public access?
No, for other board members to join
I
via
see.
electronically.
To join the meeting virtually.
Like I said.
The problem really is having communication between groups. And, but we, we can find somebody to go on the second Wednesday of every month, whenever that is. At 9 o'clock?
So I'm not sure what.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So is there an agenda that we're hoping to cover as a group, or are we wanting to do 3 separate meetings? I'm not clear on what, we're all wanting to come, not the entire group here, but we're wanting to just have representation from each group
So I think
whenever there's a group meeting.
I think the goal here is to have 1 or 2 meetings where all of us are here in a year. One, if it's better for schedules, and then the other one is to like have a library advisory board member on the foundation, a foundation member on the Friends. So then at the very least, everyone's going to their meetings and that person who's on both boards can say, this is what we're doing in this one, and this is what we're doing in that one. Kind of like Amber and I sharing what we do at the library.
Sure,
Similar to that.
Okay.
Cross-pollination.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you.
I think the idea is better communication, better understanding, and so whatever mechanism we need to do that, and so what Brista's suggesting is that there's a library advisory board member who attends a Friends meeting and who attends a foundation meeting, so that, and there's a library, a Friends who attends the library, something so that there's better communication between.
Yeah, no, the cross-pollination
Yes.
that's, yeah.
Or like at the end of everybody having a meeting, somebody sends me just a little summary of what happened and then we can share it out.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
what I
know
was
what
gonna
the
say.
best way is, but
How to share the highlights.
just some way to get that information around.
Sure.
I'm sorry, but I can see where that could be a problem, asking somebody to take on an additional obligation for their time. Getting volunteers for any board is difficult, but asking them to sit through 2 board meetings a month on a volunteer basis, even though we're all wonderful and we're really committed to the library, it becomes a stressful part of one's day. Something to think about.
And maybe it's, as Marissa said, a written summary that we can send out to, the highlights, these are the things you need to be aware that we're talking about. And while this would include stuff like from the Kiwanis in terms of, the road to the donation bin is open, because I've gone a couple times and it's been closed. No, I didn't want all of it to Friends, so it's still sitting in my garage,
Open now.
So, just little things that would help us understand each other, know what's going on. And like tonight, I was saying, I don't know if there's a Christmas tour of homes this year, I don't know.
We don't know either.
Okay.
You don't know if there's a what?
Christmas tour of homes. The one thing, the reason I think the meeting was beneficial is if you ask somebody, do they know that there's a foundation? Do they know the Friends because of the bookstore? They know there's a library board. How do we get the recognition out that we're 3 different groups, but we all have the same common goal? And I think that's what we need to focus on first before we try and become each other's boards. How can we get our community to realize, just like you say, how do I, that, that's getting information out for people to understand those differences. Used to be if you donated something to the library, you got a big article in the newspaper and they came out, took pictures. Nobody takes the newspaper,
You can forget that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There were ways to get the recognition, but how do you get the recognition or the acknowledgement that there actually is a library foundation?
I think it would, I'm shocked and I'm not shocked that you guys have not had. I think you guys, this should happen at least once, if not twice a year.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with Joyce. We've got enough meetings to go to. I don't need any more meetings.
Yeah.
I agree.
I agree. Could we do even a quarterly?
Yes.
Yeah.
Even that's too much, I think.
Twice a year.
Heritage and Landmark, we can't get enough members. We went to every other month now, and we still don't have quorum. So I think if you came like in May or June and then right before the end of the year, or maybe a little before that, if you have a meeting like this, then you can bring the whole thing to the council meeting and give an update.
Yeah.
Then we're covered.
It might be a simple solution. Do y'all take minutes?
Yes. Share the
Could you
minutes.
just make a copy and send it to us, or just leave it with Marissa?
Yeah, send it to me.
We do, don't we send them to you? I think we do. Yeah.
Oh, could you share with us, Amy?
I'm Amber.
Amber, I'm sorry.
But you can call me Amy or April, like.
Yeah. I was in the right end of the alphabet.
Yeah.
So we'll agree that we'll just start off by sharing minutes with other groups.
Yeah, so.
I would point out, I might sort of agreed with Mary. I was thinking there could be some advantages to attending a quarterly meeting, because there's simply a synergy that happens when you're face to face with someone, like, man, this is what we're struggling with. Oh, have you tried this?
Sure.
As, Joyce was saying, hey, have you tried this? You tried that? You start getting these ideas building from someone outside. And I agree. If I looked at this and said, I'm not gonna be able to attend a meeting every month, kind of a thing as well. We hold our meetings every other month in part to avoid that kind of burnout as well. So I still would like to promote an idea of some mechanism in which we are working a little more together other than ignoring the emails that you sent me.
Hitting it for later.
So I don't think we need anything formal at this point, but let's put that seed.
I think we should commit to at least twice a year then. And then
Yes,
see if we.
that seems
works.
reasonable.
And I think it might also be a good idea to think about what are we gonna talk about during those twice yearly meetings? Are we just gonna, are we getting together just to say, hey, how's it going? Do we have topics that or are there just touch base points maybe?
I can
Not
do what we
specific
do,
topics, but
I can do what we do with lab and send out an email, a week or two before asking for agenda items.
Yeah, and I'd like to suggest that it's driven, not that you have to run the meeting, but that it's driven by your team so that we know where we should be focusing, because we're all gonna be doing these different activities, whether foundation or, as friends or whatever's happening, that we can answer the questions that you guys have and so kind of help us keep on a path.
Also, we need to do it before they do the budgeting process, so we know what kind of things we need to be gathering money for, so that as she's budgeting, what doesn't get covered, how can we help do those? So, timing the meetings around.
Yeah, which our budget process starts like the beginning of April, and we already have to have everything like done by then.
Right.
Or then it goes through committees and all that other
So
stuff.
time the meetings around.
Beginning of the year would be.
I would say that you're all invited to our meetings whenever you want to attend.
And-
If something pops up,
And if you,
say, hey,
we
can
make
we
you
come?
sign up right there to be on the board while you're there.
You will be under no obligation to sit through a presentation as to why you should be a board member. That won't happen. But yeah, if something arises and friends like, oh, we should talk to the foundation or something, you're always welcome to attend our meetings.
Would it be helpful to have like a directory? Like, would you guys be okay if I shared like a full list of everyone's contact information with each other? Not anywhere else, just with each other.
Sure.
Yeah, no, I think that'd be great.
So can we agree that this is the meeting for the first half of the city's fiscal year, and then we'll have a meeting in early next year, so for the second half, so we can stick to their, you know.
Yeah, it just tied around the budget
February,
process.
you asked for the budget.
Yeah, so March, right? Wouldn't March, no, February.
I mean, they already have to have stuff in March,
Oh,
so if you
okay,
had
sorry.
February.
Yeah,
To get it to them before March, then you're.
gotcha.
And that would be a great opportunity as well for us to share fundraising ideas and help cross-promote each other's
Yes.
activities,
Mhm.
so we can reach a wider audience.
Okay, I would like to ask that people take a look at the how do I section for theirs and rewrite that for your own organizations. And if you don't have an email address, which many of you do, you can always just send it to Marissa.
I will gather all the contact information and send it out.
Okay,
And when
so
I
that-
send that out, I'll also send out my suggestion for when the meetings could be. And then maybe we can all tentatively put it on our calendar.
Where's the foundation meetings at?
This next one's next Tuesday in the Lilac Room, right
It's
here
in
at
the
the library.
Oh, okay.
It's either Magnolia or Lilac.
Occasionally, we do have them online, because
Not an online guy.
this one of us has her retirement down in,
Oh,
Desert, California.
I fly south for the winter.
Good for you. Smart bird.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions, announcements?
What are people's budget years? Now, you said that the city's budget year is,
We are July 1st to June 30th. That's our fiscal year.
but with decisions pretty much made by April, right?
Honestly, before that, the budget process really gets going in March, April, so we have to have like exactly what we need for the next year done by beginning of March.
Okay.
And then it takes several months to actually get through the process and get approved, but
Did you say, you said July 30th to what?
it is July 1st to June 30th. Yeah. So our fiscal year starts July 1st.
What about?
And we're the same.
You're the same?
Yeah.
And what about, you're the same?
We're the same. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're not, so.
What's yours?
Ours is actually October 1st to September 30th. And so we are starting our budget process for next year. But how it works, it's like, as our treasurer says, it's not what we're going to spend, it's what we think we'll spend, you know? And so this year we cut out some donations because we just felt like it was necessary. We typically get through the food and toy drive before we start to donate to other organizations. We get through that and then see where we are, but we set the budget pretty soon, so.
So Luana, that's something that you would be doing, is you would send information to Marissa about, volunteers needed for the toy drive and stuff like that, so that, we all hear it, all of us hear that at the same time.
Well, there's a feature in Facebook where you can be a related organization and people will cross-post for you. So all we need to do is set that up with different groups. I think we have that set up with a couple of organizations already where we can make them a co-sponsor of an event or something like that. So yeah, we're happy to co-sponsor like your home tour or things like that. So
Great, thank you.
we have a pretty developed social media presence. We have separate pages for the store and for the club. And
I think we're up to, we only have 72 members, but we've got like 700 or 800 people, I think, on our Facebook page. And the store is higher than that because a lot of customers do that. So we cross-post between those, and we're often posting for other organizations and we use Canby Now a lot, and I have a list of about 6 or 7 different Canby sites that I post on. But anyone who wants to ever sit down and talk about social media, I'm happy to meet with them. Angela Baker and I do the social media for the club, and then and so the food and toy drive, we share that out. Like when we post it probably 10 different times to different groups.
On the contact page, I'll include all the group's social media handles. And yeah, I mean, if you guys have anything you want to promote, we can post it on our social media. Like I said, 90% meetings. So I can share it elsewhere with other people who have nothing to do with the library per se. I think this is just a really important thing that all of us can do that's super easy to support each other. So I think, thank you for saying that.
Any other last minute? Joyce?
Just to drop a little hint that the Christmas tour of homes is coming up pretty soon, and it would be lovely if everybody here told their friends that we're looking for houses to be on the tour. And then you would let us know, and we would be so happy.
Okay.
So please think about it. You know, anybody that does the decorating for Christmas, they're a suspect. I mean, a potential.
Have you had trouble getting homes to tour?
Well, I haven't done it for the last couple of years, but I did it for the first 7 that we were doing them. And yeah, you go, some people are very excited to have a bunch of people come through their home during the cold Christmas time. Some people decorate their homes beautifully and they want to show it off. And sometimes we have had people who volunteered, and this is one of the reasons why a member of the board goes and checks out the house. And I got to do that once where I had to tell somebody, I'm sorry, I can't use your house because we want it clean and decorated. So, I mean, but it's important that you have consistency in an event, and people love going to see what's happening in somebody else's house. If you decorate for Christmas, if you know somebody who decorates for Christmas.
Yeah, because we have people out there that obviously don't know what we're looking for, and if we get on social media like Canby Now, which I do a lot of, reaching out to people in the community, if they want to be able to show their homes. A lot of people are proud to do it. We've got some people already that are excited to do it, but we could always use a lot more. So if you know somebody, a neighbor, somebody in the city limits that would like to show their house decorating, please say something to us or come up with it. So.
Anything else? It's time to, I'm going to ask somebody to adjourn the meeting.
I second.